Jesus fell on his face. That day, early that day, he expressed how he saw a vision. He saw a vision where he was on the throne and angels were surrounding and they were coming for judgment. And this judgment that they came with was a judgment on religious people, on holy people, people like us who did great things, who who healed and did miracles in Jesus' name. And Jesus said, I don't want you. He said, get thee hence. He spoke of nakedness and hunger. And in that you see that Jesus wants only a ministry of helps. And he told Peter, Peter, you deny me 3 times. And of course, Peter said, nay, Lord. And he spoke about how Judas would betray him. And then he had the Last Supper and he instituted communion. Mary Magdalene had anointed him with her ointment. And it was about between 11 and midnight. And he goes to this smelly place, the valley of hell. And he tells his disciples, just watch. And he goes and Jesus falls in his face. And I wonder, Jesus is outstanding. Of course, he is God incarnate. But it appears that he was dispatched from God, separated from God, or part of God, or the collective of God. And he was chosen to go to the pigsty instead of the prodigal son, to bring the prodigal son back. And he lost his skin in Eden to cover Adam and Eve, and he gained it back through Mary. And he experienced everything that the great men in the Bible had before him, being killed, imprisoned, having all of these things happen to him. And it was heavy. And it appears that when he said to the disciples that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, and that was his biggest fight, it appears that the flesh is some sort of drug, and that free will is its freebase, if you will. And this weakness of this flesh gave this man such a battle, and he knew what he was about to face, and the flesh had such a hold, like it has a hold on us that it can cause such sorrow. And he was aware of what he had to go through, and that amplified his sorrow. He got up and he went forth towards his victory. And the beautiful thing about what Jesus did and us, that even if we get up, and we will get up, you will rise, you will do the greatness God has for you if you would surrender the will, if you go through this withdrawal that he did to be free of the power of the flesh. First skin, then he had to lose his flesh. If we go through, I don't want to paint a candy-coated picture that's going to be all great and dandy. You may have seen a vision for you at Jesus saw it. You may have to separate the goats from the sheep in your life, the religious from those who have a heart of God. You may have to do those things, and you may have to stand apart from people closest to you, like Jesus did. And again, you might fall. The Garden of Gethsemane was a purifying place in all its stench. The archaeologists found a purification pool that was built there. But it also means that everyone was washing their bodies there, and there was no sewage piping then. So the dirty water went into the garden where Jesus fell upon his face. And you may be suffering from other people's mess. No candy-coated picture. But what happened to Jesus thereafter, this experience, your experience, enabled him to go through every trial, enabled him to go through all that torture, enabled him to be stabbed both with nail and spear to a cross, enabled him to be wrapped and buried, enabled him to go to hell and meet Satan himself, but conquer. And in your life, fall on your face is just the beginning. But what it sets you up for is such a great victory. Every call upon your life is coming to pass. And don't believe the hype that it's going to be all nice and dandy. You're going to skip through it. You're not going to skip through it. But what it makes you into is a warrior who was able, like others cannot, who have it so nice and easy, who others cannot do these things, who can do these great things, to defeat every demon in your life, to defeat even Satan, to defeat even the hell they've put you through. Though you're on your face today, God says, if you give him your will, if you step up and understand, this is not a fairy tale. Yes, Mary had a little lamb, but in this instance, he was filthy. You get up. You're a warrior. And don't let this flesh defeat you. It's just an armor that they gave to David that he couldn't use. The same for you with your flesh. You get up. You do this thing because we need you. And you win because this fall is just the start of a great new beginning.